ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Aeon State. I am on Kialla, and I'm currently bringing you a video on the basics of questing. This is going to be mostly for you guys who have never played before or never done an MMO specifically. If you've been from WoW, I don't care. I don't like WoW anymore, and emphasize anymore. Anyways, here I am on the planet Alderaan. I will not be doing any story missions in an effort to help protect and prevent spoilers for any people who may or may not be watching. Now, questing in this game, it'll feel a lot like WoW, but one of the biggest differences is a lot of it actually has a partial storyline to it. And yeah, it's all voice acted, and you can choose how to perform certain quests. For example, sometimes you'll have a quest where you can choose a light side option to do one thing, or a dark side option to choose another. I am currently, actually, let me do this the easy way and actually go to I didn't realize I had done all the quests in this area. Let me go to an area and I can start showing you some of the basics of how questing and the various instances work. Now, whenever you get a quest, hitting the L key will bring up your quest log, and it's got unlike Warcraft, it has a lot better way of keeping it organized. I actually had to get an add-on to make my quest more organized. These little buttons on the right here will tell you if you're tracking it or not. As you can see, my space missions I do not track, simply because I know how to go and get those. Now, they're typically going to be divided with 5 colors. You got gray, green, yellow, and then orange and red. Gray are typically not going to provide any experience. Green are going to provide in some cases will actually provide depreciated experience. Yellow will provide normal, and unfortunately, because I level so fast, I can't really tell you much about orange and red. However, orange will typically be about 1 or 2 levels above you, and red is typically going to be ones you cannot complete at your current level without having a lot of help. They will provide the same amount of experience as a yellow quest. Yeah, they should. However, it is sometimes best just to wait, because they will provide experience that is equivalent at that level. So the further you are away from that level under it, it'll be more experience that you can gain. However, saving the bigger experience stuff for later in your levels is a good thing to do, because then it's less experience you have to gain for that level. Now, as you can see here, I got my stuff with Flash Portal, Space Combat. Class-based missions are ones that are specific to your class and where you are in within that class. And from here you can follow most of the time there's only going to be 1 or 2. Very, very rarely have I ever seen 3. Then again, I don't think I've ever seen 3 class quests at one time. Typically the class quest when you get it the most is when you got one on one planet and one on another, which typically will happen at 2 points only, and that is in Act 1. That is after you first leave your initial capital homeworld, and there's 2 possible planets you can go to. Balmora and Nar Shaddaa is the one for Empire. For Republic, it will be Terrace and Nar Shaddaa. Then it'll happen again for the next 2 planets after that. For the Empire, it is Tatooine and Alderaan, respectively. And it's actually the same for Republic. Balmora and Terrace are planets that are visited by both sides, but at different level spectrums. For example, Balmora is visited early after Dromund Kaas by the Empire, but it'll be visited after Chapter 1 by the Republic. And Terrace is the reverse, whereas it'll be visited later on by the Empire or the Republic. You get to visit it very, very soon. Anyways, you can select these to help make it easier. It's always a good way to either track. You can there's also reset and abandon function. Abandon will actually completely abandon the mission. Reset will reset the whole quest to the start. It will not reset it by the phase. So, depending on where you're at in the quest, resetting it can cause problems, or it can prevent you from making a mistake from choosing an option that you did not want to choose. Now, I am currently flying out here while we do that. Let me bring up the map. The map can be your best friend. As you can see here, this gives me the basic idea of Alderaan. I can click this and I've got the world map. When you're not doing the bonus series, you'll be focused primarily from this region here, all the way around, going up into the Glarus Valley. There are also a few datacrons on this planet, which I will cover in later videos. things you need to know. These are taxis that you have access to. If it's got green, it means you can take it to get to a quest easier, and this means it's undiscovered. Now, if you're questing, generally you'll get to what's called a quest hub, which is where we're arriving to now, and I have done a lot of the quests here. What you'll do is you can pick up all the quests that are available, and then you'll have a big idea of this general area, say you get it from this hub, of where your quests are going to be. Best thing to do is try to get them all at one time, and try to get them as you go along. Now, as you can see down here in House Risk, because I've done Alderaan before, I know that's going to be the next quest hub over after I leave this spot. So, sometimes your class quest will take you, are going to be 2 hubs after, sometimes it'll be 3. It all depends on the class quest. Don't think that the class quest is going to always lead you. You can follow it along, and as you come to various quest hubs, then do the hubs as best as you can, especially if you're free to play or preferred, because you have your experience gains aren't going to be as fast as mine, especially as in my previous video if you do not have any of these right here unlocked. Now, as you can see in the top left here, you got where your cursor's at and where your player's at. If for some reason you needed that, you had that available to you, no add-on needed. This is particularly useful if you're hunting data runs right here. So if you go on Google, you can go right here and see where you gotta go. This gives you a nice little legend right here that you can view. Also, where missions are being offered, where your objectives are, mission area, group missions, or exit with mission. Now, as you can see, I got one mission that I can pick up. This is a droid for a flashpoint courier to take me to a flashpoint. I don't want to do a flashpoint. This is going to take me to an area essentially off the map. With this particular quest, I will tell you beforehand, it is a cave because we will be going there. If you do not want to see the slight storyline behind this quest, that is fine, but this quest is not a part of a chain. And I will be doing this quest to give you a general idea of what to experience. And my class quest is actually down here. And what it means by leave area, you will not be in this open field area. You will either be going to another section of the map, or you'll be going within an instance area. Instance areas are where it is going to be you. It is your personal play area. Those of you who have played Guild Wars are familiar with the instancing system. And if your service or section is too populated, and you got this option right here, you can change your instance, but remember there's always a cooldown. If also you're trying to hunt down a world boss, this is one of the best places to do it. Now, let us move. And by the way, there's a magnifying glass here if you want. Some of the datacrons, if you're one of those who like to find things out for yourself, if you're one of those who likes to find things on yourself and find hidden paths, a magnifying glass can actually help you find like small little splits in a mountain that may or may not be a path or some of that nature. Now then, as I move, my settings actually have it where it fades out so I can see where I'm going but still have the map up. By the way, these areas in light right here are areas that can be discovered. These dark areas are not discoverable areas, or they are an area that is off the map. For example, if you view the world map, all this is discoverable except for these areas covered in black. And by the way, if you are leveling and you just... Some people have different methods. Me, I like to do my crew skills as I'm leveling, because every so often, for example, Cybertech, which can make armoring and your mods, they cannot make enhancements. If you can keep it up to level, then you can make your own stuff and spend your accommodations elsewhere. However, this can get expensive, especially if you're doing a gathering, which actually requires you to spend money. Now, because I'm a tank, I keep in Drenicos, because he is my range DPS. I usually send my others to go out and do whatever.
Excellent. I was just wondering what I could do to please you.
He likes to eat people. That is why you should make an Inquisitor and use Kim a lot, because he's awesome. Now, some of you may notice my companion's affection is high. Well, one, because I got the money, one thing I do when I first get a new character, or a new companion, I will get an upgrade 1 and an upgrade agree to companion gifts to increase their affection, because they actually have the spare credits. And that will actually decrease the amount of time it takes for them to do their certain crew skills. In the very beginning, it does very minimal, but it gets up there. So, just a little tidbit for those of you guys while you're questing. Or if you're doing a Warzone or a Flashpoint, because as you can see I can deploy 3, because I gotta have Andronicos, I can only use 2. Now as you're going along, you can find these straight little quests like this one right here. If you're on a mount and immediately talk to him, your companion won't be out.
Where are you?
So one thing I do is I back out away from my companion, because then that
Where
way
are you?
can convince.
Come out! I know you're
to
there,
have
you
more
brain
affection,
steel. Captain
depending on your
Asersha of
options.
House Thule. You'll turn up.
That's not fear I smell, is it?
There are
I like to be a smart ass and insult people.
Don't be a fool. Just
Now, because we took a break, we now have this new setup right here. With this new quest, this will tell you, hey, you can recover your certain item or do your certain thing here. In this case, I got to recover sensors from cocoon soldiers. Now, there's also, at some point during some of these quests, you can actually accidentally run into a bonus quest. And never pass up an opportunity to try and find a bonus quest, especially if you're leveling, you got a decreased experience gain. Now, this is one quest. When my first character, I didn't know how to do it. Like, I looked around, I could not find the cocoon soldiers. Just so you guys know, if you ever get here, that's where they are. All the way up there. Now then, when questing, if you highlight these guys, you'll see something. Then you can click on where you can highlight them, and you can see what their level is. If it is 20, as you can see, they're 20. If it is yellow, they are just right. If it is green, they are easy. If it is red, or well, if it's orange, you can probably still kill. You might have to burn people with bands or bags. If it is red, he's probably going to kill you. But as you have seen, a new bonus quest has popped up to defeat their forces. The bonus quest can be divided up from one to multiple parts. If it is divided up into multiple parts, do not turn in your main quest, such in this case bugs and bombs, until after you completed the 4-part. Because what will happen is, if you complete that quest and turn it in, you cannot do the bonus. There's actually some quests, if you actually complete the main objective of the quest before you do the bonus, you cannot do the bonus, and it is very annoying. So try and do the bonus when you first can, if you want the extra experience. And a lot of times these bonuses, they'll allow you to get a lot of experience and recoms, maybe sometimes an item you can use, such as an This guy was not tagged by me, even though he was attacking me, therefore I did not get credit. This guy took my kill, but I'm not going to give him a word symbol. This is not World of Warcraft because if you see somebody trying to achieve a certain item, such as, say they've got an item on the ground and it's one you have to pick up, and you see somebody fighting a mob around it, be respectful, because odds are they're the ones trying to get it. This is trying to at least keep some PvP.
You'll see.
Now, as you can see, my cruise is finished. Now, this pop-up will not happen while you're in combat, fortunately. It is designed so that you are a little bit more flexible. However, whenever you have a mission and it requires you to accept items and your inventory is full or you're in combat, you can always click right here wherever it says your pending is. And you can click here and you can see your results. And if you got clear out room in your inventory, you can always go back later. As you can see, I'm actually running out of room. Your cargo space becomes your best friend, especially if you keep a lot of crafting materials. Now, because I level fast, I'm not going to focus solely on this bonus mission, as there are other things I'd like to cover in this video before I end it. So I will go ahead and finish this quest. There's a setting that changes my max camera distance to 100%, and that is why I can see so far out at times. It's actually quite useful in PvP. as an assassin and an operative, I can do this. Sometimes you cannot do an objective while you're fighting. Sometimes you can. One thing I like to do is I like to loot things in a hurry, and then use my force cloak if I vanish. Fortunately, it doesn't take long to kill these things. I know one thing about these soldiers. I'm sure they didn't realize in their contract. I'd hate to have to be the one soldier to realize that. Find that little sub-clause that says if you are captured and cocooned by insects, we're going to throw grenades at you. Great recruitment speech. Notice I am not paying attention to general chat. General chat has never changed. Sometimes I do forget to redo my buffs. Just because I just grind out so fast. Good last one. So we can move on and I can show you about the instance quest. By the way, depending on the level of speeder, will determine how much damage you can take before they knock you off. Speeder piloting 1 is going to get really annoying. When you get speeder piloting 2, you can take a lot more damage before your speeder, quote unquote, blows up. And you have to get out of combat to get back on it. Really annoying if you're level 50 going through. As you can see, this guy has seen me. However, he is not knocking my stealth off because that only happens when they attack me. Bada bing. Now, depending on your cruise skill, you will find all kinds of stuff that you can essentially use for your cruise skill. Every planet will have a low, a medium, and a high, so you try and gather as much as you can while you're on the planet, because you may come across a crystal node that requires you to have 90 archaeology, but you only have 75, which would be more than enough to save inventory. Now, as you can see here, this is green, meaning I can enter. This stands for group phase. If it were class-based, it'll say it is for this class only. Now, you can party up with somebody to do a class quest, but you cannot go into their area until they go in there first. Once, if you're in a group and somebody goes into this area first before you, it'll turn blue. If you cannot go into that area, it'll be red. Now, once you go in here, there's nobody else that's going to be in here. This is your own personal area unless you invite somebody else. And in an effort to save time, I am doing my thing of being sneaky. The NPCs can suck it. Well, not these. I gotta kill them. By the way, guys, if you're ever in a group environment and you're dealing with a lot of mobs and you're worried you may not make it,
in the name of the Emperor,
wipe out the weakest ones first, because one, they're weak. You can kill them in a couple hits. It'll take a substantial amount of DPS off of you. As you can see here, interactable objects are going to look like this, and will have a light blue thing around them. You'll find this lore objects, mission objects, quest objects.
you saved my life.
Lore objects can be as small as a little faceplate in front of a statue, so if you're one of those lore collectors, you'll have to look, because you can miss them. Datacrons, however, will not have that little thing. They will actually be color-coded based off of what they have. Which I can show you some Datacrons in a later video. Then again, it's never 100%. Every so often something will see me and I'll have to kill it. Like right now. Unfortunately, Andronicus has the AoE, plus we got that. Blood. There we go. Force users, force push it. Range people will shoot it. And as you can see, another bonus quest popped up. When I am by myself, I typically don't follow the rule of killing the weakest thing first. I usually just focus on this guy, because my companion does a pretty well enough job of ganking everything else for me. That means by the time he gets here, my companion will have 3 of them dead. Focus on DPS solely. Oh no, because I'm not paying attention to my health. Depending on your class will determine how much downtime you're going to have. If you have a sheer DPS class, if you do not have any talents or abilities that cause you to heal, you may find yourself having less downtime, whereas my power tech, who is a tank, and Mako, his companion, he has no downtime whatsoever. As you can see here, some items will take you to a cutscene.
You have removed those who are not of the nest. Had they stayed, they would have learned the peace of the... We will not deny you, but leave...
And this is where you can start choosing your own possible options. If you are in a group, this will be timed right here, so nobody can just go AFK on you. It will go past it.
I'll decide when I'm done here.
As for me, I don't like taking...
A human attitude. In the nest, once we have...
I don't care about some bug cult.
But
I'm here for the
sounds
reward.
like Scientology.
We are of the nest. There is no war. We will never...
Am I supposed to care?
And see, this is when you come up with different paths that you can take, and each one is going to have its own effect upon the storyline. Depending on some options, you'll actually receive an in-game mail later from NPCs that are related to certain things. Now, my character is primarily light side. However, something about these bugs always bothers me. You know, to me, it just goes back to Scientology. It seems like brainwashing. However,
If you have found happiness, however unlikely, I will not take that from you.
Andronicus did not like that.
Thank you. If you ever tire of the world of violence and...
Depending on your actions, will cause whoever you are interacting with to act different ways. Just to give you a reference, this other guy, when if you were to force his daughter back, would... Thank you. And then you would have another light side, dark side option of choosing whether to have them pursue war against the Killiks or not. So you will actually get to see the light side option. Let us
Thank you.
find out.
I wish I could. I have heard no.
And here you can tell, you can lean more of a dark side away and just say the Killiks brainwashed her, say she wanted to stay, or say she's dead. I wonder which one I would actually say.
I'm sorry. I was too late to save her.
And this goes back to where
No!
if you want to choose
Why,
something
Daria?
else.
The Imperials
If you get
report
midway
they were
through,
not mistreated.
you can hit escape during a conversation and redo it. Whereas if you wanted to go back and actually force her to come back, you would have to reset the quest.
Thank you.
And you'd have to go
My
all the way
medics
back
are
to
treating
that.
Her mind is gone. She is no...
Those mons. I've heard of this. They call it the joining. You should have dragged her away.
She is at peace now.
I only wish I could have.
General Thule, I'm Agent Craig.
You make a habit of getting captured on your missions.
Of course not. But we didn't...
You Alderanians are entirely too cheerful.
I've heard.
Murder and...
Just
For
before...
an
If it
Inquisitor,
were-
generally every NPC you run into, companion-wise, they love violence. Just as a reference. And as you can see, this is one of a generic set of rewards you can choose from, depending on the quest. Some of them will have either a choice of 3 to 5 comms and an orange quality item, customizable, whatever term you want to call them, artifact, legendary, whatever. I call them moddable armor. Of typically higher quality, you can find these premium lock boxes, which you open them and they give you a random item. Or you can get these. My advice is, if you're looking under armored in one of your armorings right here, instead of choosing one commendation, you can get one of these, which is the equivalent of 7 at the commendation vendor. Anyways, it'll tell you to select one. Sometimes it'll just say there's some are provided in which none are needed to be selected. You can even get a breakdown. For example, credits, your base pay if you branch off or if you persuade somebody. Whereas if you're an agent and you can tell them to pay extra, do it. Experience points, light side points gained, and companion affection, whether you go up or down. Real quick, we're just going to look and see if I can upgrade my armor anywhere. And already we can accepting that. Then down here it'll tell you your experience gained, your affection, credits, and legacy experience. This is your XP bar, your legacy bar for any free-to-players who may not be too familiar with what looks like what. Just for my future video reference. If it is green, you've got some rested experience. If it is not green, you do not rested. It is bonus experience. So, log out in a cantina, similar to the inns on Warcraft. It'll give you some bonus experience, rested experience, for while you go questing. It'll make it a little bit easier questing in the inn. However, this is one of those quests that gives me a chain, and it actually opens up this area. So you may finish a whole hub of quest here, and then get a whole nother set of quests here. Welcome to leveling on Star Wars The Old Republic. Fortunately, you actually got people to talk to, and you can threaten them when they sit there and try to explain to you why you have to go kill 50 things that go roar. So those of you who don't know, those are the Murlocs from World of Warcraft. And every World of Warcraft player knows them, and every World of Warcraft player hates them. For obvious reasons. But this is just some of the basics of questing. This is again Aeon State. Check out my buddies Cal and Izzy at Chaotic Hippo or Shameless Soul respectively on YouTube for other videos. Please keep tuned in later for more wonderful videos on how to do things or just me doing stupid stuff. Thank you.